I mean, I spoke about that. One of the best I've seen was at the weekend, Crystal Palace. Palace without the ball against Fulham were brilliant, right? Without the ball, difficult to break down. But Forest are a different level. I know Harry Maguire affairs, the one cleared off a line in the last minute, and they've kind of hit the bar. You know, one of those, I call them one of those headers that are never getting in, big loopy one. But apart from that, I don't remember the goalkeeper having a save to make, Matt Sells, who incidentally is having a great season. Yeah. But I mean, the Forest story this season, do you know what's amazing, mate?
It's been bubbling though for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Cooper, they signed it about 30 players.
That was ridiculous, yeah.
They spent about 200 odd million.
Yeah.
And then Steve Cooper got sacked, and obviously there's people sitting in the dressing room wanting a game, and he can only pick 11. Nuno comes in, picks the ones he wants. Gone, I'll have him. You can stay. You can stay. You can stay. He's now got what I was thinking watching the game last night. The secret of football is sign good players and get them working hard and give them a plan with the ball and without the ball.
Yep.
They've got that.
Yep.
And they've got the crowd behind them as well.
Oh,
and they've got belief.
And some.
Yates epitomises everything that Foresters have got going for them.
Do you know some? I've actually felt guilty not giving him man of the match. I probably, and with hindsight, but then no. Anybody that scores a goal like that does it, and the only goal of the game does. I don't care what anybody says. Has to be man of the match. The boy hits with the stats. Seemingly, Elanga runs 85 metres. Listen to this, in 9 seconds with the ball. That's what they said he did. He ran 85 metres in 9 seconds with the ball, and what a goal! But you're right, mate. Ryan Yates.
Do you know? Carl Lewis and Linford Christie would beat him, but unfortunately they haven't got a football brain. So if you've got pace and a brain, you're dangerous, and he obviously has. But I look at the team. Murillo clears one off the line at the end, so he's got them working hard, hasn't he? They get behind the ball, but not only do they get behind the ball. I mean, you've managed sometimes when you drop off and you sit deep as a team. The danger is you become passive and you start thinking you're safe. And instead of getting out to the ball, you're jogging.
Yep.
And that's the danger. But he's got them doing the opposite. We'll get back in our shape, but as soon as the ball moves a certain way,
bang,
we're all out. And do you know Yates reminds me of? Kevin Richardson.
Yeah.
You must have played with a player like that, who's not the best player in the team and doesn't want to be the best player in the team, but he gets everybody else playing, and he fills gaps and shows that aggression, and it rubs off on everyone.
Do you know what? Perfect example. Absolutely perfect example. First half, his job clearly out of possession. You know, with Garnacho and Fernandes were playing behind Zirkzee, who incidentally is a good player but will never ever be a centre forward. And his job was to pick Fernandes up. Now, he was deep in that kind of right pocket of midfield in front, and he got dragged over. But I watched him. The first thing he did as he was getting dragged over was point to Fernandes and tell, I think it was Gibbs-White, to get back in to pick him. You know, pick him up. It was just his defensive duties were carried out to the T, man. It was fantastic.
He's the same, isn't he, Gibbs-White? He's got the same attitude.
Oh, he can play.
Do you know when I was manager of Wolves, and I went to watch the under-15s training in the academy, under-14s.
Yeah.
I was out there on Thursday night, and I remember calling the group in, and he was one of them. He was like 14, yeah. He was stood in front of me. I was saying, like, you'll be playing for me soon, some of you. So
well, it's funny because after the game, he came over. I think Martin and Rio were in the middle of the park for a wee interview, and it was Martin that gave him his debut. Martin gave Ryan Yates.
That was Yates, yeah. I'm on about Gibbs-White.
Yeah, I know that. I'm aware of that. It was amazing. But the other thing I was going to say as well, pre-match, Rio had a chat with Zirkzee, you know, and he was effectively asked him, you know, where's your favourite position? Where do you like playing? I actually could not believe the answer. He said to him, well, the manager's, I'm playing as a number 9 today, right? So I'm playing as number 9 today, but you know, I quite like, he said, can I play in a 10? And then he went, probably somewhere in between. So he's now invited
9.5.
He's invented a 9.5 from somewhere. Where does the 9? I want to play in a 9. That must be the easiest role in the world, a 9.5. But what I said before, and you'll know exactly what I mean here. So we're getting into, I'm sitting with Martin before the game, I beg your pardon, and Lindsay came to, she says, what do you think? I said, well, the one thing I know, listening to that interview, I can tell you, he does not talk like a centre forward.
Well, I watched him last night, and I don't know if you noticed, there was a spell of second half. There was a spell of about 20 minutes. He gave the ball away. I started counting after 5. He gave it away 8 times on the bounce.
Yeah.
Now, if you centre forward, if the ball doesn't stick with your centre forward, your system don't work. Whatever system you play,
100%.
He give it away 8 times on the bounce. That doesn't happen. I mean, we've had nightmares, haven't we?
Yeah.
When you can't control the ball when it comes up to you.
But you
have days like that.
got to get a hold of it. You got to keep it. It's got to stick.
He gave it away too many times. Sloppy. I thought they had the ball quite a lot last night. 68% possession.
Yeah.
And when they got into the opposition's half, too many players careless, sloppy.
Yeah.
They're better than that, some of the players, but giving the ball away too cheap.
I thought they were tidy in possession at times, midfield to back to middle, and you're spot on. I gave you it in forward position. Careless at times, very careless.
And you got to give Forest a bit of credit.
Oh, without
the
doubt.
way they force you into giving the ball away.
All day. They're happy, they're happy. And then, but as you say, bang, they're organised, get themselves in a good shape. Whether they made the substitution. The one thing that was interesting, they made the substitution. He takes Stanley off right away when Aina's got to come off, and they go from a 4 to a 5. Bring Nico Williams over the right hand side. Mourinho comes in at the left.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden they've got a 3 with the 2 wide. They obviously know, and they know how to change shapes as well. All right, mates. Elsewhere, Wolves also massive 3 points beating West Ham, 1-0 to move 12 points clear at the top. That's effectively killed that for me. Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester now look absolutely gone. Saka returned. You couldn't make that up, could you? 100 days away to score the winner. Gabriel again. That's a real concern for Arsenal. He went off injured. Saw that. But only game I was at last night. Forest moved even closer to a place in next season's Champions League with a 1-0 win, as Dino and I have been discussing over United. It's a 13th defeat in the league for Amarim's side, who could drop to 14th on Thursday, but the United boss thinks they're slowly getting better.
If you look at some games, we cannot create situations of goal, and they create, the opponent sometimes create more opportunities, and today was not the case. They scored in 1 shot, maybe 2 shots at goal, and we managed not to score. Again, we have to improve in the last third. We are improving the way we build up. We are pushing the opponents more to their half, but there's a lot to do.
Are they getting better? I mean,
Man United?
Yeah. I know it's a tough
when you've
one.
got to put Harry Maguire on in the last minute.
At centre forward.
And
by the way, done all right. Wins a couple did what he was asked to do. Unlucky not to score. They just went on, played him diagonally, wins a couple of headers. He's unlucky not to score. But surely we're in agreement. That's not the answer.
No, say Højlund was up there and they started firing balls into the box like they did in the last 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Direct, putting the ball into the box when they get a chance. Surely it causes more havoc than they caused in 90 minutes by overplaying.
Agreed.
Getting it wide, turning out, coming back across the back, out the other side. At times, put the ball in the box early.
And ask a question.
And even Maguire was causing havoc.
He was?
Because it was coming in. The 2 centre-halves, Murillo and Milinkovic. You got those 2 at the back. Yates and Gibbs-White.
Proper old school defenders, by the way, and you'll know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Just don't want you to score. That might sound like a stupid thing to say, but they took real delight in keeping clean sheets.
Yeah, and but they had problems when the ball comes in early, and I don't think there's enough of it in football, to be honest. I think there's too many. They're more concerned about how many passes they make in their own half.
Do you know, I go to Manchester City. I mean, imagine being Haaland, and I know he scores a lot of goals, and I think he's got 30 in all comps, but that's without crosses getting into the box, mate.
He looks bored. I watched the Brighton game last week at Man City. I was at the game.
Yeah. And
he walks around, he looks bored, as if he doesn't know when the ball's coming, and he's just waiting for a through ball, or, Doku. By the way, Doku, I know we've gone off the subject, but Doku, you won't want to play against him. I know he got his final ball wrong, but he is lightning quick.
Imagine a combination of Doku and Elanga. That's a conversation.
And Traore.
Well, the Premier League is back and we're taking your calls, guys. United fans, are there signs, as Amarim says, that things are getting slightly better? Forest fans, can you believe it? I mean, can you actually believe it? Are the passports getting looked at? Tickets for a trip across Europe? Of course they are. Is your team ready for the Champions League? I think they're 2 wins away. Maybe 2 or 3 wins away.
I think they've got the formula.
Yeah?
To win.
It's amazing. I think they're looking up the way rather than down the way to chasing them. So give you a call, 03717 223344. That is the number to get involved this morning.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.